How do I tell my boyfriend that although he is perfect I don't think we can be together? I have only been in one serious relationship with my abusive ex who I have 2 kids with. Our marriage became really toxic and now he barely sees our kids. Since we finalized our divorce 3 years I made a decision to stay single for a while. That was until I met my boyfriend who works at the same hospital as I do. 6 months ago we officially started dating and he was great. We worked similar shifts and saw each other often. Our relationship moved quickly and after about a month he was staying over in my flat and is great with my 2 boys, 4 and 8, probably because he works in pediatrics. I'm a nurse and honestly don't make that much, but as soon as we started dating he offered me financial help, which I was reluctant to accept. He offers to look after to my kids and takes them out, he brings food when he comes over and has helped me renovate my flat. He is literally perfect. But we are only 6 months in our relationship and I feel like it's going too fast. Because of his higher job than me in the hospital, I literally assist him at work sometimes, and that he is financially well off I feel constantly inadequate. I feel guilty when he treats my kids and they're so happy and I could never afford that on my own. What made me feel worse is I went to his family gathering and they are all successful and his mother made a comment about how I live in a cheap area and how her son has downgraded from his ex. His family also had some sort of weird problem with me being northern. What has made me worry recently is that I was eating lunch at work and spoke to his colleague who told me how he is planning to propose and how he said he would love to have a kid with me. This freaked me out but I said nothing. Then last week he asked me if we could move some of our stuff between houses and he would like me to consider moving into his much larger house. The thing is, I don't want to move. I live next to the school my kids go to and he lives further away. I told him I'll think about it. We also have completely different taste. What made me write this post was when I found a list on his computer of wedding planning and he was looking for rings. He also had created plans of his house including bedrooms for my kids. I just think we are too different and after my last marriage I don't think I will be ready for ages. When I was going to bring it up he came to me with a plan to throw my 4-year-old a huge birthday party that he is going to pay for and has already bought gifts for him. I don't know what to do. If I tell him this I'm scared I'm cheating my kids out of a perfect father figure. He makes my kids so happy but he makes me feel like I'm not enough in a way. What should I do? Update: thanks for all the helpful advice and after reading your comments I decided to talk to him. I told him about how his colleague had told me his plans and that I know he wants to get married soon but I'm not ready at all. I said that I love him and I appreciate everything he does but we are only 6 months in and it's just too fast at the moment and couldn't we just wait a while? He was silent so I asked him to just say something. He was angry and said, "Have I not done enough for you?" I told him he absolutely does and it's me that needs to sort myself out and I just need us to relax as a couple for a bit. He got up to leave and I apologized and I didn't mean to offend him, I just want our relationship to stay as is. This was last night and I've been quite upset about it. The comments made me realize that I shouldn't pass on a perfect guy because of my own problems but now I think I went ahead and ruined it anyway. Comment: okay, so it has only been 6 months of dating, you have every right to panic about him moving too fast. Unfortunately, your mind is now going into defense mode and trying to come up with any reason to break it off. So here's what you do: talk to him about taking things slow. What you need is open and honest communication about the pace things are going. You can still be together, but his pace is freaking you out and you need things to go slower. Anyone talking about marriage at 6 months would freak me out too, that's why I too soon, especially with children involved. So ask him to take it slower, think about marriage in a year or so, not take it off the table completely, but that you can't think about marriage right now when you feel you are still getting to know him. Edit: just saw the update. You did literally nothing wrong. His reaction is manipulative and proves B doesn't actually give a flying F about you. You did nothing wrong. This all may be love bombing too. I was a single mom with 2 young kids coming out of an abusive relationship. Dated my now ex-husband for a year and a bit before getting married and having 2 kids. Dating was like a dream come true. He was a model partner. Listened and validated me. Told me I was doing the right thing by holding strong, clear boundaries with the dad of my kids. Took me on vacations I would never have been able to do without the financial help. It was all love bombing. I now have 2 more children and another abusive ex. Exactly. Abusers can spot the low-hanging fruit, a woman already beaten down from a previous abuser with little chance to rebuild their self-worth. Throw in kids and challenges of being a single parent. A knight in shining armor is too good to be true. I am so very sorry for this shitty experience. It's not your fault. These entitled men are the cause. Slippery, slimy men. I thought I was going crazy. This man is making some insane life plans after 6 months. He's trying to lock her down way too fast, and planning the house and the wedding before even asking her. This is not how a healthy adult treats relationships, no matter how enamored during the honeymoon phase. If anything, this brings to light his attachment issues. People here need to chill the fuck out. Not to mention, women who have had past abusive relationships are far more likely to repeat them. There's no way her normal meter has fully reset. What he's doing, the gifts and kids and house planning, are all very large grand gestures and are classic signs of love bombing. She's right to be on her toes, not to mention how comfortable his family already feels treating her like shit. Op should have a conversation about slowing down and taking a step back to actually get to know each other. I'd be happily surprised if his mask didn't slip during that time. Next story 2. I'm unsure of what to do with my parents. I got in a small argument with my grandmother the other day because I told her I didn't want to talk to my mom. She got upset, saying how she's my parent and I need to love her and my dad. Well, my mom and dad weren't present growing up. After my parent divorced me and my siblings went off to live with my grandmother, aunt, and grandfather. Dad was around-ish, like physically there, but not involved. From what I understand, it was my grandfather, his dad, that would make him do stuff with us and take us places. Growing up he would hit, and I honestly think it was bordering abuse, me and my siblings, and I think I would get it the worst of it. My mom kind of disappeared then, after a few years came back, but ended up in jail. She'd sent cards every now and then and would sometimes call us. She didn't come back till I was in middle school, but I didn't want to see her because I felt abandoned. I slowly let her in, but she was never a mom to us. She worked hard, helped buy me and my sister our first car, but it came with a price. She wanted to force her religion on all of us because of some stranger my brother introduced her to. A religion that required her to pray X amount of hours a day to show faith. There were times she wouldn't come out of her room literally all day or wouldn't sleep because she would be praying. I try to talk to my mom, but the conversation doesn't go past "how have you been?" Good. Even when I try to make more conversation. Me and my dad got into it during a holiday because he was drunk, something very common for him when I was a child, and being rude over me needing help with taking the battery off my car. My mom is constantly in abusive relationships and she won't listen to what anyone says about it. I've considered just cutting ties with them, but I don't know if I should. There's a lot that I haven't mentioned, because I don't want to make this longer than it already is, but I hope it's enough to paint a decent picture of my situation. Comment. That is a rough situation. At least you are in contact and attempt to be cordial, it seems. What advice are you seeking? What is your goal for your relationship with her? You can love family, but you don't have to like them all the time. Have you ever had the chance to really vent to her how you felt about growing up? Just with what you've written, you are well within your right to go completely no contact with both of them. It doesn't sound like you would get any benefit from any kind of relationship. I'm sure you know, but you don't need to love your parents just because your grandma says so. If for some reason no contact isn't doable, then the absolute lowest contact, and keep them the hell away from any children you have or are going to have. I'm so sorry for what you've been through. I hope you've been able to find happiness in other places in your life.